What's up, Thrashers, and welcome back once again to the Thrash Maniac 99 YouTube channel, and I am back with yet another album review, and today I am talking about the latest offering from November's Doom, Major Arcana. This also came out on September 19th, this time on Prophecy Productions. If I were to remember how many albums we're up to here, I believe this is album 14. Somebody might correct me in the comments, who knows. But anyways, despite having the last album, this is my first proper sit-down with a November's Doom album, and this is a band I've been needing to check out for a long time now. So for those who don't know, this is a Illinois-based melodic death / doom metal band, or melodic death doom. Basically just a perfect mix of death doom and melodic death metal, with even little hints of prog thrown into the mix too. And this band had been around since technically the end of the 80s, when they were under the name Laceration, but changed it in 92 to November's Doom, and they're kind of seen as unsung heroes of the death doom fusion genre. After all, you go look them up on the archives, you can see that they are compared to some pretty big bands. But anyways, this is my first proper sit-down with an album, and I have to say, I have slept on this band for far too long, because this is some awesome, awesome stuff. So after the pretty piano and spooky vocal intro track, June, goes into the title track, and immediately you get these like melodic yet really heavy riffs on top of a lumbering groove. And I gotta mention, Paul Kerr, his vocals are some of the best I've heard in terms of death doom all year. And that even includes the Paradise Lost album I reviewed yesterday. So yeah, this is some strong vocals. Like, already hearing his vocals, particularly in the clean register, he almost sounds like a hybrid of Aaron Stainthorpe from My Dying Bride, Nick Holmes from Paradise Lost, and Dan Swano, which, kind of relevant I bring up Dan Swano, considering I believe he mixed this album. I mean, he's been mixing their album since 2005's Pale Haunt Departure, which I need to get that album at some point. But Swano has been the main guy in the production helm for November's Doom pretty much ever since. So, and this does sound like a Swano mix, so it makes sense that Swano would have an influence on Paul in his vocals to a degree. Hell, even in the growls, like the death growls that Paul has, do remind me a little bit of Dan Swano as well. But on this opening, or on the title track, dare I say, some of the vocals Paul's projecting are like really like anguished, like he's being tortured almost. But I also love how this song includes like darker riffs and atonal tags, even triplet chugs that kind of lean more towards death metal. Now, lead work, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the lead work right away. Some of the best like feeling leads I have heard on any album this year. Like, these are some well-crafted solos. Now, as far as the moods this album is going for the most part, it's kind of a more somber and sullen mood, but you do get some like darker songs, like I would say particularly tracks like The Fool, Dusking Day, and The Closer 22. Those songs in particular do get pretty dark in the feeling and in some of the riff writing. But going back to a song like Ravenous, awesome drum intro right away with atonal melodies. You get your big death doom chugs and lumbers. There's even little machine gun riffs that come in very sparingly. And it's a more sinister sounding song. Like, this is one of a couple of songs where it just gets downright evil. Hell, the song itself would kind of be what you would say a slow Morbid Angel track could be. But I also love how on this song, the leads, they get harmonized, which is pretty sweet. The song Mercy, which is one of the more pretty songs on the album, clean vocals and clean guitars just galore, and sounds like a perfect blend of Paradise Lost and Swallow the Sun. Like, Swallow the Sun is a pretty good comparison to make to November's Doom to an extent. And I love how the song itself, it's mostly a somber atmosphere. It's plenty doomy on here. And it's almost like Paul is, like the title says, pleading and begging for mercy in this track. And then you get to songs like The Dance and even Chatter, like those two songs, and actually Dusking Day as well. Those three tracks is where you kind of get more of a melodic death metal vibe, not so much doom. Like The Dance starts off with synths and clean guitars. You get more sinister and hefty riffs to have a more melodic death metal touch to it. But man, the melodies soar quite a bit. And even Paul's vocals get downright gritty on here. Plus you get some more chug behind these riffs. And then later in the song Chatter, dare I say this song gets a little more like classic heavy metal at the beginning, and it's very riff driven. Same with the song The Fool. Those two songs have some of the best riffs on the album. Like The Fool starts off with atonal riffs and grooves before it turns more riff oriented and it's a darker song again. But the song Chatter, I got vibes to Witherscape a little bit. Like it kind of has a little bit of a prog flair to it. And speaking of prog, the song Bleed Static, which was the longest track of the album at 8 minutes, kind of a progressive death metal, doom metal song. Like, starts off with tribal drums. You even get, like, almost Middle Eastern melodies, and you even get some, like, great acoustic guitars. You get doomy riffage, and hell, the soft moments that show up later in the song are some of the prettiest moments on the entire album. And then the final two tracks, Dusking Day, I would say, was maybe the most evil sounding song on the album. It starts off with like a dark, dramatic atmosphere with a clean melody that follows. But man, it turns into suddenly, did I accidentally switch over to Sulphur Aeon? I don't know, I've been listening to a lot of Sulphur Aeon lately, so I just got reminded of that. But again, it's got more of a melodic death metal tinge to it. But the closer, 22, it's dark melodies and harmonies. It's mostly a death metal song. Like, it's got groove and chug behind it, but you do get great acoustic guitars and soothing vocals to really bring all this to a close. So, in all honesty, when it comes down to the production, I really love the mix. I also love the musicianship on here. Paul's the star of the album for me when it comes to the vocals. As far as any negatives go, I don't really have many. Although I would say maybe the most minor grievance, and it's a very minor nitpick, perhaps a little more doom could have been welcomed. But for what I got, this was an awesome album. I am going to give this 4.5 out of 5 easily. This is up there amongst one of the best death doom, melodic death metal albums I've heard this year for sure. So if you are a fan of, I would say, like My Dying Bride, Paradise Lost, Swallow the Sun, hell, I would even throw in Witherscape, and screw it, I'll throw in bands like Dark Tranquillity. Check this out. This is actually really, really strong. But of course, those are just my opinions. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. But until next time, thank you for watching, keep your horns high, and your dreams wet.